Alrighty, continuing chapter 1 of Hound Dog Trip. Okay, remember our main character right now is Maddie, and right now she is with Uncle Potluck in her new classroom, which she has not started school yet because it's probably still summer. Anyways, let's read. The bulb is ash gray. Uncle Potluck puts his hat to his heart and bows his head. Gave its life in service of the illumination of youth, he says. Maddie smiles, bows her head like Uncle Potluck. Thank you, Bulb, she says. It's only Uncle Potluck around, so she doesn't mind saying it out loud. So here they're just being a little silly. Put that in the box, Maddie. We'll take it back to authorized personnel and give it a proper burial. Maddie nods and lets go of the ladder. It doesn't wobble. Uncle Potluck doesn't need steadying, really. He's been performing the custodial arts since before Maddie was even born. Up at the front of the room, a skinny box rests against Miss Morgan's desk. Maddie sets the veteran down, meaning the old light bulb, and slow, careful pulls a fresh bulb from that box. A bulb so white it matches the chalk on the blackboard ledge. This is probably where she'll have to stand. It's always up front that teachers make you stand. Every time Maddie has been new at school, the teacher made her stand in front of the blackboard and say her name. Except last time, fourth grade. That was Mrs. D'Angelo's class. Mrs. D'Angelo had a whiteboard instead. Told Maddie to stand in front of that while she wrote Maddie's name, fat and loopy, in blue marker on that whiteboard. I miss our whiteboard. Introduce yourself. I'm Maddie Breen, Maddie had said. Louder. I'm Maddie Breen. Came out quieter, though. Why do you think it came out quieter? What does that tell you about Maddie's character traits? Think about that. Tell us something about yourself. And just like every other transfer day, Maddie got tangled in her own head, trying to figure out what would be good to say. What she could say that would be smart or funny or interesting enough to make people forget they already had friends and places to sit at lunch and people to be with at recess. So, some of us who've been new to a new school and we'll all be new next year kind of know what that feeling is like when you're new in a classroom. Sometimes you're a little scared, right? All right, let's keep reading. Maddie had her notebook with her, the first one, the yellow one, and she held it to her chest like armor. That's a simile too. Tucked her chin behind it, felt her breath bouncing hot back. She's definitely nervous, isn't she? Shoes shuffled under the chairs. Shy, someone whispered. Yeah, she's definitely shy. Stuck up, got whispered back. Just the day before, Maddie had seen a TV show about Buddhist monks, how they could breathe so deep and slow they seemed to stop time, to stop their own hearts from beating. Maddie tried that then. Breathed slow and deep, trying to stop her face from reddening up. It did not work, probably because I'm not a Buddhist, she thought. And that's what she said. I'm not a Buddhist. That was enough for Mrs. D'Angelo to tell her to sit and to tell her she could sit down. Maddie did sit down. How do you think she felt after saying that? Do you guys know what that means? Buddhism is a type of religion. And what Maddie just said in front of her whole class was, I am not a Buddhist. Sat holding her yellow notebook at a table Mrs. D'Angelo had pushed an extra chair up to. Sat in the place Mrs. D'Angelo said was for now. Oh, so she didn't even have a real seat. Sat with 4 other kids, one of them that girl Star, though Maddie didn't know that yet. All Maddie knew was that she had said, not a Buddhist. Not exactly the kind of introduction that would have people rushing to make friends. Not that she knew how to make friends, really. She could be friendly, of course, After the newness of a place wore off, she'd been friendly, but then it was usually too late for true tell your secrets to friends, even the nicest people calling her that shy girl instead of Maddie, not a Buddhist. So she probably isn't so happy with how she introduced herself to her new classmates, but that's not a reason to not be nice to somebody. We all know that. Let's keep reading. Not a Buddhist, not a Buddhist, not a Buddhist. Took a whole half of that morning before she could concentrate on anything else. When finally she did settle, Maddie caught a glimpse of the whiteboard. There was her name, sitting bold and friendly among the times tables and the spelling words, like she was a lesson. Like Maddie Breen being bold, friendly was just as true as 5 times 5 being 25, or weird being spelled the way it was. I'm Maddie Breen, she thought. She sat straighter. I'm bold and friendly, she thought. Fact true, like it says on the board. That's when Mrs. D'Angelo started in on science, started writing survival on the board, writing of the, finding no room left on that big whiteboard for fittest. So she's trying to write survival of the fittest. Forgive me, Maddie, she said, smiling. And then Maddie Breen got erased. Well, she didn't literally get erased, just her name got erased from the board. So how do you think that made her feel with the whole introduction to her new class and what you guys know about ever being new somewhere? All right, so some things for us to think about. Don't forget to do the reading reflection on forms. I hope you guys liked chapter 1. I enjoyed reading to you guys. And we'll keep reading for chapter 2 and onward. All right, bye.